Hey guys, Darren Mark of Suppzguru.com. I'm really excited. I've got a special friend here today, Rehan Jalali. Rehan, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, man. Thank you. So anyway, I wanted to bring Rehan in today. As everyone knows, Suppzguru.com, or if you don't know, is a review site, and we're going to be really looking into the industry. And the main thing for us is that we really want to give people a professional insider's insight into the industry. Not just testing products or tasting them, but actually testing them, giving people insight of the background of the industry and how it's gotten to where it's at today. And Rehan's one of those guys. Rehan's been in the industry for quite a while, along with myself, and that's where we've gotten to know each other from. Rehan, give me a little background, where you started in the industry, and kind of lead us up to where you're at today.
Well, I've been in the industry for almost over 20 years now, and I started with EAS when they were kind of small, and then they grew huge. They became, when I got there, they were about a $15 to $20 million company. When I left there, they were a $220 million company. Wow. So I got to see the growth, the expansion. We were the first to bring creatine to the market.
I remember that.
Back in the day, like,
right?
Well, I'm from the Paleolithic era, actually. So before Instagram and all these things, I wasn't an Instaguru. I actually really studied this in school and everything else. So I started there, started formulating products for many, many companies after that as well. Started knowledge, providing information, content. I started a company called the Supplement Research Foundation back in those days. Mm-hmm. And so, because there's no credible source of information, kind of like what you're doing now is providing credible information, which is very, very necessary now. So over those years, I've been developing products, writing books. Now we're getting to movies and other things. I had a radio show in Los Angeles about supplements and health and wellness and fitness. So I've kind of done everything in the industry, so to speak, every area, and really gotten to follow my passion doing it.
Two of the things I find interesting about your past, number one, is that you worked for EAS, and it was interesting. I was just telling a friend this weekend how many people don't even know what EAS is anymore. Yeah. And really, for any of you out there that are not familiar with what EAS is Bill Phillips was the CEO of that company, and EAS really brought sports nutrition to the mainstream.
Yes.
And got people involved in sports nutrition and fitness. They did a great job with that, and I know you were involved there with formulating some different products. Is that correct?
Yeah. I was there doing technical support, formulating products. I started writing for the magazine, which was Muscle Media.
Yeah, I remember that.
The old school. And what was really cool about the company was they had the largest body transformation contest.
I remember that.
Now everybody's doing transformation now, but they were first.
Yeah.
And they actually made a documentary about it that I was in called Body of Work, about this huge challenge they had and how they transformed lives and bodies. And like you said, it was the first company to bring sports nutrition to the mainstream.
Yeah.
They worked with the Denver Broncos. So the 2 years I was there, they happened to win the Super Bowl. So I'm not saying, I'm not taking credit for both wins. Yeah. Maybe one win, but, exactly. I just got lucky, I guess. But we used to go to training camp and provide them supplements. And so we really started getting into sports and mainstream, and EAS really did a good job of bringing body transformation to the masses.
No doubt, man. The other thing that I think is really cool is that, functional foods has become really popular nowadays. I mean, you're seeing the protein popcorns, you're seeing all these different candies that are protein loaded. And really, you were one of the first to bring that to market. I believe, was it with Biochem or Country Life? Yeah.
Wow, good memory, Dan. Yeah. Wow, you're old school like me.
Still drinking that old Weider vanilla fish flavored protein. So.
Yeah, exactly. The chalk flavor. I think
exactly.
It was like a light chalk.
Yeah.
No, we actually developed a protein candy line. We're talking 17 years ago.
Yeah.
Before anybody had anything related to that. We had protein M&Ms, we had protein Tootsie Roll candies, we had a protein peanut butter cup, and we were in 7-Eleven and a lot of stores.
I remember that,
so yeah, it was actually cool working on those on that technology, bringing mainstream technology with like candies and all those things and putting protein into it.
Yeah.
And now obviously protein is in everything. My God, I've seen protein lollipops with the show this weekend. So it's pretty crazy. Yeah.
Well, I was even talking to somebody about it was called Power Butter back in the day. Yeah. And it was like the first protein-packed peanut butter. And now you see all these different brands out there, Nuts and More, and everybody's doing really well with those spreads, which I find is pretty interesting. Yeah. Let's talk about moving, the industry moving forward. So the sports nutrition industry's, been around for quite a while, but it's now in my mind, and from being around it for quite a while, is that I see that it's starting to evolve in a new level. I mean, different things. Brick and mortar's kind of gone away a little bit. You're seeing a lot more direct sales and online, people purchasing through Amazon and those sites. But I think even some of the products in the industry are changing a little bit. And one of those things that I know that's really come up big, and I believe you're doing a movie on it right now, is regarding CBD. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely. CBD is kind of the next frontier, especially with the new laws that are coming on, and people are really accepting it in the mainstream as well. And there's tons of studies behind it too. I mean, it's not just a fly-by-night type product. I mean, there's thousands of research studies on CBD showing its effects on pain and brain function, antioxidant effects, a plethora of different functions as well. So that's the next thing. The cool part about it is great safety profile. So you can actually add that to a lot of different things, sleep formulas and other things. And CBD is misunderstood because people think cannabis must be, you know, the high stuff. I don't want the munchies after I take CBD, you know. Has nothing to do with that. CBD,
because there's no THC.
Absolutely. It's completely THC free. And CBD, really, what it does, it provides you a supplement that actually enhances hemp oil extract, is what they call it. But CBD provides you with all these benefits without really any adverse effects that we've seen in any research studies. So really good safety profile.
That's interesting, man. And you know, I have, the reason I wanted to bring it up is that I know a lot of the contract manufacturers I work with are now getting into manufacturing CBD products and including them in sports nutrition products or making functional food products with them. The other thing is that, you know, as it becomes legal, cannabis becomes legal in different areas around the United States, you know, CBD is becoming more used, and I think the people that were interested in trying it, but for legal reasons were afraid that they were going to get in trouble. Now it's really just like sports nutrition was kind of taboo 25 years ago. CBD is now working itself into the mainstream. It's interesting. I'll talk to people that I would have never in a million years imagine were using CBD products, and they're using it for joint issues or sleep problems, that type of stuff. So that's really cool to see that it's. Now, what about, you know, one of the things in the industry is when these new products come out, or, you know, the big misconception is that nothing is overlooked by the FDA or anything, but that's not true. I mean, the FDA will shut somebody down if they're not following certain parameters. So with CBD, you know, do you think that the FDA will get involved with that at any point?
That's a great question. It's something that every manufacturer is asking about, actually. CBD is, again, on, you know, it's being looked at by the government. I spoke to the FDA, to be honest with you, and when I spoke to them, this is a few months back, they said that basically it's not high on their priority list. They're more looking at kratom and DMAA specifically. So their CBD is not really a high priority because, again, good safety profile, has effects. They're labeling it as hemp oil extract, and hemp is natural, obviously. So I think that, look, right now, not many issues, but, you know, it could change down the road as well. But if marijuana becomes federalized, then we won't have any issues at all. So, and it depends state by state. Obviously, the laws are different. For example, recently in California, they banned putting CBD into food products temporarily.
Okay.
Yeah, temporarily. So hopefully that will change by January.
What was the reason for that? They're just doing some studying on it?
Basically, they wanted more information about the actual content of CBD in the product. But again, a lot of that has to do with the quality. See, the problem is, like in our industry, as we've seen, there's a few bad seeds that make everybody else look bad. Right? So a lot of people weren't using CBD isolate, for example. That CBD isolate is 99.9% pure. They were just using a full spectrum kind of a powdered hemp powder, right, which has everything in it, even small amounts of THC, and they listed as THC free. So that becomes the issue. So that was the issue that, hey, we got to make sure there's no THC in these food type products. So they're evaluating it, and hopefully the law will change again.
Awesome. So speaking of that, I mean, like with the legitimacy of the industry, I know that you have another, is it book or a movie that's coming out called The Skinny Truth?
Yes, it's another great movie. This is a more mainstream film.
Okay.
So it's like there's movies out there like on Netflix called What the Health, for example, which demonizes meat. And I mean, there's a lot of other stuff which is sensational and kind of demonizes specific food groups or whatever. This movie is really about the obesity epidemic, but what it really demonizes is misinformation. I believe that misinformation is a villain, and that's why it's so great what you're doing with here is that you're providing really knowledge and information because people are missing that. And there's confusion everywhere. Now there's Instagurus and, you know, people with abs are becoming experts, and you know, you have these guys who've taken creatine once and they're, you know, talking about how great creatine is in research. They're experts on creatine. It's like, you know, like if I have a heart surgery performed on me, I can't go do some, you know, heart surgery on someone else. I mean,
that's a great point.
It doesn't work that way, you know. So, but so this movie is really about the misinformation epidemic. The misinformation crisis, and people are confused. If you're an average person, imagine the average person who goes out trying to get healthier or lose fat or whatever.
Yeah.
All the information out there is keto good, is paleo good, is what is good and what is not good. So this movie really kind of gets down to the research, gets down to the real world results, and really gets a lot of real experts providing their viewpoints on what really works. And that's what we want to resolve, is that, look, here's information, here's 5 or 10 things that work for sure for most people.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. And again, cutting through the BS, going right to the science, and giving people a tangible way to get healthier and fitter.
That's awesome, man. I mean, that was one of the things for me and with starting this site was that I'm not looking to bash anybody's products. Number one, a lot of people don't realize that entrepreneurs start in this industry, and sometimes you get led into the wrong manufacturer and that type of stuff. So, there's a learning curve for people, and not looking to throw anyone under the bus. What I really want to do is I want to show people that this industry is legitimate.
Yes.
And that there are some very big contract manufacturers out there. And I know some of the guys that I work with, I mean, they're heavily scrutinized by the FDA and inspected and watched. So, it's really cool that you're coming out with that to bring people, and I think as the industry evolves, and as people grow up learning more and more about the sports nutrition industry and that it is legitimate, it's going to be looked upon as like any food product, and I think you're going to get more of the mass consumers using that.
It's kind of already happening. I mean, I think you make a really good point. A lot of people tell me that, the supplement company's unregulated. You can use like the Wild West.
Yeah.
But it's really not. I mean, the FDA has a lot of processes in place. They have CGMPs and they have adverse events reporting. I mean, you try to have an really serious adverse effect with a supplement, see what happens.
Yeah.
The FDA will come in with guns blazing. I mean, they don't play around at all. So, I mean, look, it is. You could say, yes, initially it's not super hard, the barrier of entry to start to get a product, but to maintain that and keep it and provide safety and all that, there is regulation for sure.
Exactly.
And there's an office of dietary supplements, right? The FDA has an office of dietary supplements. So, there are people who are looking into the safety and efficacy of these products and making the industry much more credible. And you see it now, because now you walk into, for example, 7-Eleven and even grocery stores.
Yeah.
And they'll have a sports nutrition section. Like, when was the last time you went to Ralph's or Vaughn's or, and you saw a whole section with protein powder, pre-workout? I mean, that pre-workout at a grocery store. Right?
I mean, it's weird to admit that I just recently bought some branched chain amino acids at Albertsons.
That's right.
Yeah,
exactly.
and I was just there shopping, and I'm like, oh, great. They had a full line of products. I mean, stuff that I've used before. And I find it's interesting, and it is becoming more and more common. Even when I walk in there, it's interesting to see how many people are in that section and buying and familiar with the products. Or even somebody yesterday I was talking with, and I said, yeah, I knew that the pre-workouts had hit the mainstream when a friend of mine was telling me that them and then all their friends were taking C4. None of them even work out. But they used a pre-workout for energy.
Absolutely. Yeah, well, you've got products like really mainstream products like Bang, for example, Bang Energy, which is in grocery stores and convenience stores.
Incredible job with that.
So it's a great distribution. And again, the average people are taking, even though it's a sports nutrition background company, VPX Sports, but Bang, is coming to the masses, the mainstream. And you see that exactly right, is that you'll have people who are even just part-time, like cardio or weekend warriors, just taking creatine now and going to Albertsons and getting that pre-workout and the post-workout and getting their protein shakes.
I'm one of those people, too, that I used to hate.
Yeah, absolutely. But 10 years ago, you wouldn't see that, right? Or 15 years ago, you would never walk into a grocery store and see a pre-workout. Like, that's crazy. So it's evolving. I think it is going to the masses. And like you said, it's just growing because people want to be healthier, be fitter, and they want to increase performance.
Awesome, man. Well, so tell us a little bit more about what you have going on, too, for yourself. So I know that you're working on a new movie. And it's superhero.
Yeah, it's the making of a superhero body.
Okay.
So this movie is really just about my life story a little bit, kind of what my process is to make superhero bodies. For example, when I worked with Ben Affleck for Batman, transforming him over 18 months, getting ready for the Dark Knight, which is I was like, no pressure, but you're Batman. Like you can't come in small. Like there's no way, And he did a great job of coming in fit and healthy. So and I've been working with other superheroes as well, getting them ready for the movies. So this kind of goes behind the curtain and kind of gives you an idea of what really goes on in Hollywood and how to transform bodies and how you can do it too as well, So
awesome, man. Well, Rehan, thank you for your time today, man. We're going to wrap it up, and I appreciate you as always. You're a wealth of information, and thank you for being on Suppzguru.com.
Thanks for having me, Darren.